And then we have tools, like you have the tool of, as you mentioned earlier, highest possible vibration. That is a mathematical algorithm that you are calling on the higher state than wherever you were.
Yeah.
So if you were down here on the ground, maybe you're here.
Get on your knees, get up. Get on one knee, okay.
Yeah.
At least I'm not on my belly.
Absolutely. Welcome to Call for the Truth. I am LaOta of the Sun, and this is Tarvars of the Sun, and we're going to be talking about passivity today. So Tarvars, before we begin, will you bring us into the Call for Truth?
Well, certainly. We encourage you all to join us in calling for the frequency of truth. Should we call forth the frequency of truth to come forward? Should we call to see the truth in all that we see? Should we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Should we call to speak the truth, calling forth the courage to speak the truth? Should we call forth nothing less than the truth to come forward into our experience? And now that we are in the frequency of truth, we encourage you all to continue joining us in our pursuit of truth by clicking that like, subscribe button and that bell notification to continue to get these broadcasts of calling for the truth. So today's podcast, we are talking about passivity.
Yes, it's a lot of that going around.
Yes, passivity in the city.
Yeah, all over the globe.
Yes, most certainly. So there's one of the things that comes to mind is there's a saying that you came forth with that has really stuck with me all these years. It served me in my journey. I utilize this as a teaching example with clients. And it's this idea that whenever people are confronted with negativity and they succumb, and they're like, it's just so negative. It's just the negativity won't stop. It's just endless. And I remember you said, it's not that negativity is stronger or greater. It's just persistent. But on the flip side of that, it's this idea that humans, we are usually passive in terms of raising ourselves above the frequency of the irritation or negativity and holding the pitch long enough to offset. You know, it's like our passivity drops down and we're like, negativity don't stop. So what you have anything on this that you want to begin with?
Yes, this should be taught in kindergarten. It should be taught in kindergarten that when you find yourself moving out of layers of joy and happiness because of noise or other children or the teacher or what you have for lunch or whatever it is, that you have the capacity to choose to be happy again. Even if the circumstance is not what you want, you can still be happy anyway. I can be happy even if I hear noise. I can be happy even if somebody over there is standing on their head, wiggling their toes.
Unaffected.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so this should be taught, but it's not. So most of us walk around with low-grade irritation all the time. The glass is always half full. Something's always wrong. It's never quite right. I can see what's wrong in every situation. And that's good, but it is the exalted mind that sees what's right.
Message. Wherever you are.
That you can see, it's such a beautiful day outside. The sun is shining. I woke up feeling so good. I got a good night's sleep. They're going to make what I want for lunch, whatever it is. Or I'm going to go play later, or, whatever adult or child understanding that we need to have. What is it that makes us happy? Move there. Move your thought into that space, and then know that you are creating that space for yourself, because we do influence the field around us in the same way. Then when you walk into a room and people have had an argument, you're like, maybe I should back out of this room.
It's palpable.
It's palpable, but it's the same way when you walk into a room full of children giggling and you feel giddy and you feel like you want to laugh.
Palpable and contagious.
It's contagious. And so be the contagion. Decide what higher level of experience have the presence of mind to be the observer. Have the presence of mind to observe, oh, if I were not in command of myself, I could succumb to the sadness of the people crying over there in the corner.
But that's the reality that many people
Yes.
experience, where they succumb,
Yes.
whether it's family, friends, their children, co-workers, etc., where they don't have enough control over themselves. And this is the thing, when you were speaking, I was saying this requires a person to have some level of understanding that I have the wherewithal to control or broadcast a certain state of being,
Right.
embody a certain state of being, free and independent of anything outside of me.
Absolutely. However, it is important that we don't feel diminished because someone else has affected us. This is the way energy works. The way energy works is it moves into and in through whatever it's around.
Yeah.
So if you're in a vicinity with people who are depressed, it's likely you're going to end up being depressed. If you're in the vicinity of people who are singing and happy and dancing, it's likely that you're going to dance your way into the next experience. So what we need to understand is that it is not an indictment on us. We have not been taught how energy works or the power that we command. We command enough power. We all think that the secret was perfect and we can manifest. Why aren't we using it?
Because of passivity.
Yes.
And what I see is, like, I want to go back to one of the practices that we've shared, calling forth the highest possible vibration. Right. And it's something that it moves the body into a higher state, and the body literally becomes erect. And I'm associating that with a level of assertiveness with your field, right? Like where we decide, oh, I'm gonna raise myself up here, wherever here is, which is above fear, anxiety, guilt, etc. And it takes will and assertiveness to sustain.
Yes.
But then I also see, people will fall out, and it's like, oh man, but the negativity, it won't stop. It won't stop. So would you speak a little bit more? Well, actually, I want to give an example, and maybe you can speak to this. There's a client who, this client has a family member who they said continues to overstep their boundaries. And they're like, every time I create the boundaries, it's like, it's just a matter of time before they cross it. And then they make me get mad. Like, they make me. Message. And so when the person was sharing this with me, I said, your passivity kicked in. You didn't sustain it. Yeah. So how is it that a person, like, what's required for a person? I think I know, but like, I want to hear you explain this for people who are having difficulty with bringing themselves up and be assertive, because we can see the passivity everywhere. We can see it reflected within our relationship with government. We can see it reflected in our relationship with corporations. We can see it in family. So the passivity is holographically showing up everywhere.
It's interesting because depression steals our inherent ability to be assertive. So whether we know we're depressed or not, the idea of being, just the word depressed, when you're something sitting on you, it's really you sitting on you. So when you are sitting on you, you feel that the other person has power, and it's convenient for the other person to have power over you, so then you don't have to have power over your circumstance. You don't have to have power over yourself to require yourself to not allow someone to steal your elevation. Like, you can't steal my elevation because I'm not making it available for you to steal.
Yeah.
It's not, if I decide that you will not steal my elevation, there's nothing you can do about it.
If you're a conscious investor looking to make a difference, you need to hear about Aluka Gold. Because doing good and doing well isn't just a dream, it's our promise. Let's face it, everyone wants their money to work harder. But what if your gold investment could do double duty? Aluka Gold is more than just precious metal. We're committed to ethical sourcing and total transparency, so you know exactly where your gold comes from and who it helps. Every ounce you invest helps support real miners and their communities with humanitarian projects and fair wages. That's not just good business, it's good for the world. You get solid, physical gold, plus the pride of knowing your investment brings hope and opportunity to families who need it most. So why settle for ordinary returns when you can spark extraordinary change? Invest with purpose. Invest with Aluka Gold. Do good, do well, and let your gold investment shine brighter than ever.
So decision is
Yes.
a major factor. That seems to be a reoccurring theme.
Yes,
pretty
it's
much everywhere.
the idea that once you decide, I've decided that I'm going to be happy in whatever the circumstance is, period. Then I choose to see how this works. And when the other person, if the other person is not choosing that, then that person will automatically pop out of your reality, because you will no longer be a frequency match for that experience. But if you're struggling, if it's a back and forth between you, then you're both in that experience together, making it greater.
Yeah.
You're adding to the morphic field. But the bigger issue is, have you decided that you're in charge of your experience? Have you decided that your energy is yours? I have already decided how my day will go. That's how it will go, because I've decided.
Yeah.
Because I have the power to decide my own experience from moment to moment. You know, maybe I can't figure out what it's going to look like in 10 years, but I can do it moment by moment.
You know, speaking of the moment to moment, I feel like that's something that's, at least in my experience, seems to be a regular occurrence. Like I was sharing some examples of just being out in public. Actually, I'll go a little deeper because I didn't share this part with you. In the store, I could feel myself drop, and then I had to will myself to go back up because, you know, the field,
Yes.
you know, suffering. People at the registers, they don't want to be there. People in the lines and whatever else.
It's
right?
so much more. It's even more than that.
Yeah, exactly, right?
There's
Yeah.
so much more.
Entities, etc.
It's a lot.
Portaways. However, I saw navigating in public, like I've reached an octave where like, I don't want to let this go. I got to hold it. And I see, to sustain my joy, to sustain my happy place, my peace, it is literally a moment-to-moment choice.
Yes.
Or maybe if it's not moment-to-moment, it's probably like every 5-10 minutes. I have to reaffirm, which this really feels like mindfulness in its truest form.
Yeah, it is. And then we have tools, like you have the tool of, as you mentioned earlier, highest possible vibration. That is a mathematical algorithm that you are calling on the higher state than wherever you were.
Yeah.
So if you were down here on the ground, maybe you're here.
Get on your knees, get up. Get on one knee, okay. At least I'm not on my belly.
Absolutely. So it is this idea of deciding that you are responsible for your sovereign condition.
Yeah.
When you have given over your power to others, and they are the responsible party for all of your happiness, your wealth, whether you will eat, whether you want, then that's what will happen. And then you won't be able, when you have already decided that, there's no solution that will make that not so.
You know, I was just thinking about this day before yesterday. I was sitting down, getting some sunshine, and remember I told you about that video I saw with what's happening with food, and the farmer lady, and she was going in. And I was thinking about how most of America and what they're seeing with the presidency, they're like, oh, it's the orange man's fault, you know, and pointing the finger. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no, this is you showing up through him, but your passivity. We are, again, we don't want to do nothing, and we're giving up our power to another. And, you know, we get to gain the benefits of whatever that is, you know, or the consequence.
So, you know, that's like waiting for someone to come save you. You know,
essentially,
it's either Cinderella, you're waiting for the prince to discover you, or you're waiting for the savior on the white charger, or you're waiting for whoever will make government do right. But this is collectively, you're looking at you. Yeah. Collectively, you're looking at whatever they decide. If you say nothing, you're in agreement. And you know, the idea of silence is consent. Passivity is consent. Yeah. You are in agreement by default if you don't agree. but mostly you're in agreement on fault because of your fault. Like on purpose, you're in agreement. Like, I don't want to think about these big ideas. I don't want to deal with how to get the garbage. I don't want to think about how I get my water. By default, I'll be passive. And so by default, now people are saying water's no longer a right.
I just saw a video on TikTok where it seems like the general demographic of people are, there's late discoveries. People who are health oriented, they already know what's up. And the woman said, they're selling tap water in the as bottled water. I was like, yeah.
That's been going on always. That's been going on for decades, yes. However, the reality is now that may give her the algorithm that I'm going to decide that I don't want to buy bottled water that's tap water because I have that in my tap.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'm going to give them any money. So if I don't give them any money, do you think they'll keep doing it?
No, they won't.
So there's so many ways to avoid being passive and to be assertive and to answer what is in front of us is us. It is us in our detriment, clearly. It is us without deciding. It's us not using the algorithm that lifts us above it so that we're in a higher vibration.
Yeah. So I think, again, this feels solid and simple enough. Decide, choose to sustain and hold your power. Don't give it up to another.
It's a big deal to not just be silent. So many of us have shut down our throats. We don't stick your head up, or somebody will call on you, or they'll know it's you and they'll ask you questions.
Yeah,
or
people walking around.
Yes, they're like, hi. That's why we all were wearing masks.
Yeah.
So that is the general temperature of humanity. It is. So it's unfortunate, but the solution is decide and then assert your genuine will for what you want your experience to be. And if you run into an issue, call for the highest possible vibration. That's our algorithm, and we hope that will help everyone as a solution. Yeah. Would you pull out a call for the truth
card? Yes. While I'm doing this, I had a thought that what we're confronted with as humanity, it definitely seems as though the universe is urging us to step out of passivity,
I think we should hope that we don't have to be pressed any harder.
I hope not, but something tells me it's going to be a little bit more pressing before more of the human populace decide to be assertive.
That seems to be the way humanity works. It's like the harder you press us, the more response we'll give you.
Yeah.
So what is your question for today?
To show us the truth regarding passivity. Damn, this is solid. The theme is protection, and the maxim reads, you protect yourself by being confident in who you are. Know who you are.
That's right. You are the one who has the power to change whatever is happening in front of you by changing what you think. You make a decision, it changes everything. You walk into a room, everybody's crying, you start laughing, you could change the whole room. We thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you'll join us again. We give you the greetings of In Lakesh and Veritas with honor, respect, and gratitude. Thank you.